Good day, thank you for tuning in. My name's Todd Standing. I'm the man who takes people out into the field and has them either live interact or eyewitness a Sasquatch. This year's expeditions are over. I have new Sasquatch footage that's okay. I'm happy that I got something this year. It's been, last time I filmed a Sasquatch was in California, I think about almost 2 years ago that would have been now, so it's been a while. I've been focused on taking people out and showing them Sasquatch and not so much about footage and stuff. But I've got a couple new documentaries to work on. Got lots of stuff going on. I can actually at this point this year announce out of the expeditioners that I've taken out, and as of this year I've taken out over 50 people on expedition. I actually broke the big 50 half a century mark. And my stats are getting better and better all the time. Like those of you who saw Discovering Bigfoot, Jeff Meldrum saw Sasquatch. John Betternagel live interacted with a Sasquatch that was substantiated by tracks. I had excellent success with Survivor Man in the 4 episodes of Survivor Man Bigfoot. And this year, it felt like it was a hard year. It felt really hard. I've got a lot of stuff going on. My life has been absolutely crazy. But even with that being said, and we got rained out for an expedition, which was brutal, 43% of people that came out with me this year, I witnessed a Sasquatch. That's because I moved. I went to my research site where I've got most of my videos. I've been filming Sasquatch out here since 2009. I've got my video 5 Jane, video 6 Jake, 7, 8, and now I've got video 9 and 10 and maybe 11 even. So we did good this year. I'm just pleased. Considering how hard it is to get Sasquatch footage, how impossible it is, I can't be too hard on myself because it was brutal. It was hard. I suffered so much this year. It was very, very difficult. Weather was not cooperating, and when I'm on expedition with people, although we were eyewitnessing Sasquatch, really the point of an expedition for the expeditioners that come out with me is for them to see a Sasquatch, is for them to interact with the Sasquatch. And a lot of times trying to film stuff, putting up cameras and camera traps, that stuff will actually hinder and decrease the likelihood of an expeditioner seeing a Sasquatch. So many things. I don't even know where to start. Like I could talk for 5 hours about all the stuff that's going on right now. I'm just completely overwhelmed. I was supposed to do my Saturday video. This is obviously not Saturday. This is getting uploaded. I'm late because I just had so many people to talk to. But I really want to start doing my Saturday videos again. I'm going to keep doing my Wednesday live streams. But in the meantime, blah, blah, blah. We're here for this video because I was given this piece of footage by a native First Nations man. That's a Native American. I know we get that confusion between the United States and Canada. In Canada, we call them First Nations people. In the United States, they're called Native Americans. Anyways, it's a native man from Canada, and he has this very interesting piece of footage. And so I'm going to show you that interview with him, and yeah, we'll start talking about all this stuff. There's going to be lots of videos going on. It's snowed now, so it's time for me to finish my documentaries. My next documentaries. I've been accumulating footage since 2017 specifically, for this next couple documentaries about the California Sasquatch that I filmed, and then this new footage that I have, and all the build-up and all the new expeditioners and all the new evidence and all the incredible things that's going on. Mind blown. Amazing. So, but for today, we're going to talk about this very impressive piece of, it's a game cam footage. So let's get into it right here, right now. Let's do it. For the past 10 years, I've been conducting expeditions, documenting chronicles, and interviewing people pertaining to the subject of Sasquatch. With over 20 years worth of hardcore backcountry expedition experience into the most remote regions, I've tracked and studied various North American species that have had little to no exposure to civilization. I am a student of many disciplines, trained in the art of tracking by a Cree Nations elder and a military sniper. My skill sets include camouflage techniques using the terrain and its features to mask ground movement, survival, evasion, and escape techniques.
I've been able to see for the first time some complete segments of Todd Standing's filming of Sasquatch, and I'm firmly convinced that he has filmed Sasquatches and that what he has portrayed in his documentary are indeed very close portraits, in fact, of the Sasquatch face.
I'm going to set up this phone call for you just so you know. I found this gentleman on Facebook. I've been on Facebook quite a bit on and off. It's a good way to get a hold of me, a good way to... I'm filling up my sheet for expeditioners for next year. I'm going to be able to take more people out and do more expeditions next year. I want to have a sustained presence in my main research area where 43% of people actually eyewitness a Sasquatch, never mind the live interactions and stuff. But anyways, I'm working on that right now. In the meantime, on Facebook, I found this piece of footage and I talked to this gentleman. So here's the phone conversation that I had with him. So other than that, stay tuned for more videos, more information. My YouTube channel is going to get hot again. Obviously, I haven't been around much, have I? But I'm back. It's winter. Time for me to get my numbers back up with my YouTube channel, start giving people the content they want. But in the meantime, here's my new friend. And remember, I just called him out of nowhere. We've never spoken before. His name's Freddie. And you'll see why in this phone conversation he became my new friend, and very impressed with what he was able to film. So have a good look, enjoy the conversation, and I'll see you next week.
Hello?
Good day, sir. It's Todd Standing calling.
Who?
Todd Standing. I'm the Sasquatch guy.
Hello.
How are you?
Good.
Good.
I just finished putting up some Christmas lights.
Oh, how fun is that?
Oh, scary but fun.
So, you had some very interesting photographs happen on your phone.
Yeah, I did.
So tell me what happened.
We were just basically going out with my son and my brother to go set up a camera where we seen some moose tracks during the week.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we got there was tracks there from the middle of the week, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then that Friday, we were sitting on the beach. We set up the camera.
Mm-hmm.
And then we just came home after that because it was probably about 4 or 5 o'clock we set it.
Mm-hmm.
And then we went back that Sunday.
Pulled the camera?
Yeah, we went back that Sunday, didn't notice anything or see anything out of the ordinary until because I got home. Then we put the SD card on the computer and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Then we seen the pictures of us when we left the site on Friday.
Right.
And then I'm pretty sure it was Saturday at 4 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
That's when he came, or it came by or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we seen the pictures on Sunday, we seen them and we were just shocked and blown away.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there I was asked to go back and check, and which I did, and I did find tracks.
Mm-hmm. What kind of tracks?
I found Bigfoot tracks.
Wow.
Yeah. I even went back with my father-in-law, who actually helped me out find a couple of different sets too. I don't know if it's the same one or if there was more than one.
Mm-hmm. What size are the tracks?
Well, I wear a size 9 boot, and then it still had maybe about 5 inches over my foot, like from the top of it.
Okay.
So anywhere from, I don't know, that looks to be over a foot, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Over a foot long. And I have some of those pictures too.
Sure, I'd love to see those.
And then when we went back and he showed me the tracks, that's when I checked the camera where it was sitting, and that's where I found about 5-6 pieces of, I don't know, long hair, I guess.
So you have hair samples?
Yeah, I do.
Huh.
I haven't sent them out or to anybody. That last person that was trying to get in touch with didn't really touch base with me again after, because he was trying to find somebody that would take the samples, he said, or something, and he hasn't messaged me back or nothing, so I didn't give them out or anything.
So where exactly were the hairs? Like, how did you find them again?
They were, what do you call it, lodged onto the branches where the camera is. It's like, I don't know, he must have, my thought is that he was grabbing it and moving it around, because the tree was bent back a little bit. Because it was leaning sort of straight, then it was kind of tilted back after that, and you could see kind of the roots sort of pushed up a little bit. I pulled the hairs off all around the camera, right on the camera. Like I got it off that cloth piece or that piece you tie up around, and those broken twigs that I had right around that wrapping piece there, I tie onto the tree. And that's when I noticed, and I looked at him, and then I just pulled him off with my hand, though. And then from there, my father-in-law went to the other shoreline, and then we found more tracks on top of the moss rocky hill there.
I saw those.
And he figured he was probably watching us, he says. And then there was a pressure break on a tree with a bunch of berries there. And all those berries are scattered and eaten and squished. And that tree's about 8 feet in the air, where it snapped off. And that's where his tracks. And that's where his tracks walked on the moose trail. Yeah. And from there, that's where I stopped following him because I didn't want to go any further. But like I said, my father-in-law went further down the shoreline with the boat, then walked up again, and that's where he said he's seen the tracks standing along the shoreline, like sort of on the hill, I guess, overlooking the bay. And that's where the elders here figured that he was watching us and all that, and that's why he went back the following day at the same time to see if we would come back or something like that. That's what they were telling me. But from there, that's all that really happened. I never seen anything else, or just the tracks and those signs of the berries being eaten, and then those little hair samples and just the pictures. I didn't hear any of the screams that we normally hear, or I didn't see anything.
But you know, the screams, it wouldn't really be logical for you to be hearing the screams. This is, in my experience, I mean, these Sasquatch, they know you, they're comfortable around you. I mean, for them to come right around and walk in front of a camera like that, it doesn't happen often. I mean, it's extremely rare. I had a Sasquatch run and grab an apple that we had up in a tree on an episode of Survivor Man, and the only reason he did that is he was just so comfortable. He'd taken apples from me so many times. He was so relaxed around me. But to me, like you said, you saw multiple tracks, right?
Like he was hanging around there. That's what my father-in-law said.
Right. Do you think you saw tracks from different individuals or just one individual?
It could be the same individual, just different tracks of him walking around.
Right. And so you say the foot for the track that you saw was just a little bit bigger than your size 9, or a lot bigger?
No, about 5 to 6 inches bigger.
So enormously bigger than yours.
Enormously bigger, yeah. You could see him in the moss and everything.
Because I'll tell you
and their strides were probably anywhere. It looked like maybe 5. I don't know, anywhere from 4 to 6 feet, maybe. I'm guessing.
Oh, okay.
Like the stride width of it, like the steps.
Right. Did you take pictures of all this stuff, like especially the tracks with the long stride length?
I took pictures of some of the tracks, and then the pressure break, and then that was pretty much it.
The pressure break is a really big deal to me because that looks really fresh. I mean, that looks like it just happened, super fresh. And
it did. It was because I know the bull scrapes and the moose signs and all that, and I know how long the bark and everything it takes to start to change color, and that was just recently. That was like probably a month before, maybe even less.
Right.
From the time we were there. Yeah,
absolutely. Because I'll tell you, in my opinion, I'm almost very certain of this. The individual we see in front of your camera is a small Sasquatch. That's not a big guy. That would not have been a Sasquatch that left, a track size. You're talking like 15 to 17 inches.
Yeah.
That looks like a much smaller individual. And I'll tell you, the big guy wouldn't be dicking around in front of a camera like that. A young guy would be curious. He'd be moving around the camera. His tracks would be harder to see. He'd probably be hiding in the bush a little bit more, but he'd be more curious about your cameras and your stuff because that's just kind of youthful, playful stuff. And
that's exactly what I was thinking.
Judging by
I know
go ahead.
For a fact that the big ones won't. They're not dumb.
No.
They're very smart and cautious, and that's why I was telling people, like, how come he didn't walk in front of it if it's a bear? Why did he know where it was? Why did he stay out of the sight of it and stuff like that? Those are the types of questions I was asking. And the area you're talking about, that tree it's on, it was all packed ground. And that's why I was saying I couldn't find the tracks until maybe 10, 15 feet in the bush. Because that beach is all beach, and then right above the beach shore, all the beach area is all hard packed all hard-packed ground. And that's where my father-in-law, Manius Crane, actually helped me out and checked more thoroughly, and that's who showed me more of the different tracks. And that's what he seemed to think. He thought they were two different sizes, but he was unsure too. We just kind of found what we found and kind of just moseyed on out of there pretty quick. Because he was skeptic. He wasn't even believing the pictures himself when he saw them here that day, until we went back, and then he saw the tracks for himself.
Now, how do you know? Are there people that come to that area often? Tell me about the area.
The area, the area is not far from our community. It's only like a 20-minute boat ride.
Okay.
But most of the time, nobody ever hunts that area because it's so close to the community, and people think that there's no moose around the area, I guess, type of thing.
Yeah.
People like to go elsewhere, like for further boat rides, I guess you could just say. More of a time-consuming boat ride, and this one's just a short skip across the lake over here.
Right.
And
Why?
I think that's. Huh?
Why are you taking a boat there? Why can't you? You can't hike there?
We can. I drove right to the boat. It's right on the lake. It's called Weekagaming. It's at the end of the lake, and then the rest is all mainland. And that's from there. From that beach is just, pretty much all mainland, and it's on a power line, big chunk of mainland. And that's why I never really wanted to go any further than that and looking for him. Because some of my elders are telling me to just leave him alone and don't bother him.
What do you call a Sasquatch in your community? Is there a name for him?
I'm not even sure. These are some of the things that I'm just starting to get back into because I'm on a land-based job now. I've been actually sober from alcohol now for about 5 years.
Oh, congratulations.
I've been sort of turning my life around and changing things, and then now I'm just getting back into to my culture and learning these things. But what they call it is sabe.
Sabe.
Yeah, sabe. And
what's the translation for that?
Just a land protector, I think.
Land protector. That's a good one.
Yeah.
My the first really I had a Woodland Cree, a man who was Woodland Cree and half Assiniboine Indian, and the Assiniboine called them Sabanak, which means shadow guardian of the mountain, because the Assiniboine people are right up in the mountains, right?
Yeah.
So, and your guys are calling them land protectors, and mine are calling them the shadow guardians of the mountains. Even shadows, I thought were cool because they're so well hidden in the shadows, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, the native people that I've had to deal with, it's been such a pleasure and an honor, and they have such brilliant insight. You really need to embrace your culture because times are changing, and there's a lot more. I think a lot more people are giving respect to the native people, the indigenous people of North America entirely, and I've seen so many things in your culture that have been lost and will never come back. And
exactly.
It's our job to make sure that these wonderful ancestral, this knowledge, especially your knowledge, it's mostly oral history, right?
Yes,
so,
exactly.
And I've never heard say it again. Saba was what you used. Sabe. Like you said, I never heard that. I took Survivor Man out to an area in Nordegg where the native people there call them Winchester Tunga, and until I asked them, I didn't know, and it means tall teacher, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, are you kidding me? Like, who's writing this stuff down? Who's taking note of it? And it's like nobody cares, and I care. I really care. This is brilliant and amazing. Did you think much of Sasquatch before you got this footage?
I've heard stories. My father, has a younger brother, and he had an encounter with him when he was about 11 or 10 years old. That was back on his trap line. That'd be sort of northeast from here, another about 40, 50 miles probably on their old trap line when they were young. And he happened to be just walking on a path on where he sets his traps. And then he came face to face with him. And he said he was a tall, dark, hairy person, man-like person.
Yeah.
And then he just turned around and then straight back to home. And he told his mom and dad, and his mom and dad the next day told him to go back and go exactly to where you saw him and face your fears. or face whatever.
Yeah.
And that's what he did. But nothing happened to him. He didn't try to attack him, or it sounded like, or he turned and hightailed it out of there just as fast as he did. Because he said he looked back and he was already gone at the same time he turned around to take off. And that's where I say I've heard stories and legends even from people from a community north of us called Cat Lake. We have elders up there who actually have pretty much encounters of him putting stuff on the trails, like big rocks and throwing things at the cabins. And that's another person who his name is Kiesig, but I doubt you would get anything from him or talk to him. But those are the stories that I've heard about the tree knocks and to the yelling, and then pretty much the encounters. I've heard stories about it, but I kind of had believed in them because they tell me these things. I just never thought that I would actually capture anything like that myself. That's what I believed in, that I believe that he's real. I just hope to maybe not run into him. I guess I think that's the way it is for me.
Well, you see, and if that's your intent, you want to evade them, they'll feel that, right? So
yeah, exactly.
You know, but you went out there, when you put your cameras out there, you had children with you? Who was with you?
I had my son. He's 10 years old now.
I have a 10-year-old son too. And see, that might have a lot to do with this, is your son's good open energy, right? Your 10-year-old son might have attracted a 10-year-old Sasquatch, right?
Could have.
So, because, you know, your son looked at that camera, right? I see a picture where he was, like, looking at the camera.
Yeah.
Right? And, you know, maybe the Sasquatch was intrigued by that, see, you know, what's up with that. And, because, the more I think, I mean, it's really clear to me that Sasquatch are enormous. A male Sasquatch is huge. And I have a new game cam picture of a Sasquatch myself, a brand new one. I'll be releasing that in my movie that's coming out next. But it's the problem is it's lower half, right? It's from the hips down, because he's so darn big, and he's not close to the camera. But when you're 9 feet tall and your hips are 4.5 feet off the ground, and the camera takes about it takes a good 2 seconds to turn on. So it was, and he wasn't playing around. He was just going. I had the camera in a spot. I mean, he just had to walk past it, and I got my footage, and it's blurry and stuff. But if you're faking it all and making it all up, you've done a pretty good job. I'm decently convinced that's real. And
I wish I was, but for me personally, I don't really care what other people think. I don't let anybody's opinions or stories or words bother me, because I grew up in the land here, and I believe my elders, and I believe what I saw too. So that's all that's really important to me.
But that's
how I've always been.
Yeah, but if it's real, I mean, tremendous heartfelt congratulations. That is amazing.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
That is so fantastic. Wow.
Yeah, because there is my mother too. And when you say that about a smaller Sasquatch, I believe that too, because we've had downriver from here. I don't know, you know, the rivers. There's a big lake here called Lake St. Joe between the two communities, Ozenberg and us. A nice big lake system. So we travel down the river, and then one of the community members here too had seen tracks of a bigger one and a smaller set too. Almost like an offspring type of thing.
Yeah.
And that was quite a few years back, but nobody had a camera at the time or even take pictures. That's what I mean. There's a lot of things and a lot of sightings and weird things that you see and hear about, but nobody ever wants to say or do anything about it.
Man, that sucks.
There's a lot of people here don't want to laugh at it, I'm guessing, or think that they're making it up type of thing, right?
Well,
And that's what my mother would worry about. I just told her, I don't care. I said, I found the coolest shit ever, and it happened to me. Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna send you, if you send me your email on Facebook, I'll send you a copy of my movie. It's a downloadable copy, and what I want you to do is put it on a stick and go give it to all your friends and give it to everybody around there. And you could tell them, I mean, if you're honestly going to look them in the face and say, this is a real Sasquatch, this is no fake, I didn't do that, I'm going to tell you something right here on the phone. my stuff, that's a real documentary. I really showed a PhD of Sasquatch. I really take people out and show them Sasquatch. I've done it dozens of times. It's the God's honest truth. So you can give them that documentary. And I've worked with Survivor Man, an honest, wonderful gentleman. I've taken him out and had him interact with Sasquatch. They're real. And you take that documentary, and if you proudly know that you've sincerely got Bigfoot footage, you can proudly say, and here's more, and don't take my word for it, look what this crazy guy's doing, look what he's doing. And I'm taught and trained by natives, First Nations people, Woodland Cree, Assiniboine First Nations man is my teacher. That's as much science as I've studied, as much as I've learned from textbooks and about primates and reading from people's experience. The reason I've had a tremendous success is because of the tracking skills that natives have taught me, and the love and appreciation and the spiritual connection to nature that natives have taught me. Right? So
yes, that's exactly right, because we all have that connection.
Yeah, and be proud. You know, it disturbs me that people are like, well, I don't want to talk about Sasquatch because I'll be ridiculed. You know, I went to a reserve in Washington State, Nia Bay. There's a whole reserve of native people there, and they are awesome, crazy, in love with their Sasquatch. They talk about it all the time. They embrace it. I was so proud of them because I've been on reserves here in Canada where it's like they are ashamed and they'll mock other people, and I'm like, what the hell are you guys talking about? Like, this is real. You know, if your elders are saying it's real, shut your freaking mouth. It's real.
Yep.
You know,
exactly.
It's one thing if you were having that sort of discontent, but when the elders are telling you it's legit, when the elders say they're back up on that hill, you better believe, because every time I've had elders tell me stuff, I go there and it's just like they say it is. You know?
Exactly.
You guys have only been here for 20,000 years. Don't take your word for it, right?
It's exactly true, my friend. That's right.
You know, so yeah, be really proud of what you have.
I am, my friend. I am.
I'm very happy, and now you can. Something happened. I mean, that's whenever somebody has some sort of Sasquatch encounter, something really special has happened. These are very spiritual, special beings. Even if you don't want to say they're spiritual, they're they're just special. And when they come around and when they're trusting, it's magic. And I don't know if it's your son, I don't know if it's you, but you know, don't be afraid to see them. You know, don't be afraid to learn. For me, they're teachers. Like, you know, they live and breathe and they're born and raised in the wilderness. All we could do is learn from them. Can you imagine what they could teach us? So for me, I look at them as even my teacher, my native teacher, who was one of the greatest trackers I've ever even heard of, one of the greatest outdoor woodsmen I've ever heard of. He told me they're my teachers. When they teach me stuff, I pay attention and listen. And that was profound to me. Really, really profound. I'm not out there hunting them. I'm not out there, you know what I mean? I'm out there as a student saying, teach me, master. Right?
And, that's what I was worried about, is people coming and hunting, trying to chase it down or something.
Yeah, you can't do that. You know what? If people do that, you know how goddamn stupid the Sasquatch will see you coming in a boat 20 minutes away. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
If you
can hear you coming.
Right. If you sneak up in a ghillie suit, the squirrels and the birds are going to give you away. You know what I mean? Like, these guys are so many levels. You try to hunt them, you're really like, I am a highly skilled tracker, a highly skilled woodsman. It's bullshit for me to go try it, and you know what I mean? Come on, let's be real here. You're gonna have to. It's a whole other level, and you don't want to ever reverse nature. If it's you versus nature, you're gonna lose. Nature's gonna kick your ass. You got to go.
A long time ago.
Yeah, that's the problem with Bear Grylls, right? His show's called Man vs. Nature, and that's not what Survivor Man, who is the real deal. His show is called Survivor Man. And he survives within nature. He loves and appreciates nature. And the difference between those two is between somebody who's legit and absolutely real and a wonderful man, and the other one's a fraud and a fake. So, you know, it's pretty amazing. So really heartfelt congratulations. You got a lot of thinking to do. Put those hairs in a plastic bag. Okay. And if you don't mind, I'll blow this up for you. I mean, I'll make this. You agreed to the Saturday show. I'm going to put this up on the Saturday show. I'm going to talk about it, and it could explode for you, right? I'd like it. Maybe try to save me a couple hairs, but I would suggest if somebody comes up, the way you get that hair tested, the best way I know of right now that's legitimate and affordable, there's a company called Paleo DNA. it's tested one of my Sasquatch hairs, and even the way they test it, they have to test it versus chimpanzee hair. So it's human hair and chimpanzee, because it comes off. They're so man-like, it comes off as a Homo sapien kind of primate. So they'll go, well, it looks pretty human, but when they compare
That's
it to
exactly what it looks like to me.
But when they compare the DNA to a chimpanzee, we're supposed to be 1% off on a chimpanzee, and they're like 3 or 4% off. It's like, okay, so it tests as human, but it doesn't test as human when it's compared to chimpanzee. What the hell is going on here? And what the hell is going on there is you got this primate that's very man-like, but very not, like we're more chimpanzee-like than they are.
Yeah.
So because they're they're cold weather primates, and chimpanzees are tropical or subtropical primates, right? So we're people like to say they're the missing link? No. We're the in between them and chimpanzees, and
I believe so.
That's just what logically makes sense. But they're very connected to the native people and the First Nations people. You go to when you talk to them, you don't call them Bigfoot, you call them the native name, and something will happen. When I started going out to my area and I stopped calling them even Sasquatch, and I called them Winchestatunga. Even the elders said, you go say this. You go talk to them, you say this sentence, and you say this to Winchestatunga. And when I said that, they came out. It's like they knew, because they had a relationship with the local native people who have been there for tens of thousands of years, right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
So go listen to your elders, listen to what your heart tells you, and try not. I know it's scary. I'm afraid when they come around, and there's a big part of them that they want to dominate you, and you got to be real. When a 9-foot Sasquatch that weighs 900 pounds and is standing there and can destroy you and tear you limb from limb, you got to be a little dim-witted to have absolutely no fear. So but feel the excitement with the fear. That's what gets me through it. Is I'm more excited than afraid.
I know what you mean. That's how I felt going back there, like. Not really being scared, but excited. It's like an adrenaline rush I was feeling. Yeah. And when we even think about them, call them teacher. Say, I'm here, what are you going to teach me today? What can I hear? I'm here to learn from you. And even go in there, pick some berries, rub up against some trees, suck on a pine needle, go barefoot, get crazy, and get close to nature, and they'll come around. Because they'll see, hey, look, this guy loves nature. You think they don't love nature? Yeah.
They adore nature. They fear technology. Technology has made us insane, right? Technology, we're crazy. We stare at little screens all day. We crunch numbers, and we live in, surrounded by a magnetic field. We don't know shit about nature anymore. We're totally disconnected from the natural world from which we came. And they have never been disconnected, right? They're so illuminated and connected to Mother Nature that if you got naked for the rest of your life and spent it in the bush, you wouldn't get halfway to where they are. Yeah. So,
won't be as hairy anyways.
But we have a lot to learn, right? So, go and embrace
I believe
that
I
stuff.
haven't even touched the surface. That's what I believe. So,
well,
and what you're telling me and encouraging me, it's spot on.
Thank
Everything you're saying, you can now. I know you're. Like just what you're saying, and you can tell you've been around, and I believe that you've talked to a lot more people than
absolutely.
Myself, so.
That's
why I'm thankful to meet people that love the land just as much as natives do.
Yeah. You can smell the bullshit. I smell the bullshit every day. I smell it every day.
Yeah, I know what you mean. That's why I never reached out to other people. But I'm going to tell you of somebody who had, from my community here, he said he had reached out to somebody about his encounter over the spring, and that's what I was just going to tell you about. He had an encounter with him, I believe, and he said he has reached out because he asked me about my pictures too. His name is, he is from the community here. I could pass his name on along to you because from what happened to him, he hasn't been back out into the bush ever since then.
Oh, it's awful. I hate to hear that. Yeah, that sucks.
Whatever he saw, he saw something, and I believe him.
Yeah.
So, maybe I'll pass him a message to reach out to you.
Yeah.
I'll tell him you're pretty legit and you're awesome.
Give him a copy of my documentary. See, you know what sucks about stuff like that is, so Jared goes out there and he's in the wilderness and he's doing something wonderful, and the Sasquatch usually they're coming around. I bet you if I talked to him, you'd find out if they want to hurt you, if they want to scare you, it's going to be horrifically traumatic, and you probably deserved it because you were being a jerk. However, most of the time,
you know what he was doing at the time, eh?
Please tell me.
He was duck hunting.
That's it?
He was duck hunting creek, and then he said he heard like growling like noises.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of like,
Yeah.
And then after that, he just took off from there, he said.
Yeah.
Didn't follow him or anything like that. It just sounded like he described some growls and described a dark shadow-looking figure along the tree line.
Yeah. See,
and he just took off straight away, and then, like I said, ever since then he hasn't been out as much.
So I'll tell you, this is what happened in my opinion, and I'm usually bang on about these things. If you ever heard when gorillas come around, gorillas or trackers will tell you when they're happy they'll go.
Yeah.
That's actually how you say hi to a gorilla. You make a horrible. That doesn't sound nice. But when a Sasquatch, they're hunters. They cannot survive in the wilderness without hunting. They eat deer and elk. They'll eat everything. Maybe they have trouble getting duck. Maybe they were coming around him because they respect the fact that this guy can get a duck. I'll tell you one thing. They were not trying to harm him. They were not trying to scare him. They were trying to communicate with him. Absolutely. Yeah. But the reason they were trying to communicate with him is because they like him. Because they saw something beautiful about the guy. And I bet you, if I could talk to that Sasquatch would say, this Jared guy was out there. I've seen him lots. I like him. I've been watching him maybe for years. And I thought, you know what? I'd go out and extend an olive branch and communicate with the guy. And I scared the hell out of him. And I was trying to be nice. I was doing everything that we do. And I scared the poor guy. And I bet you the Sasquatch would say, I'm sorry, Jared. I didn't mean to do that. Right? But see, there's that separation between our species. It's ignorance that I'm fighting against. And and no disrespect for Jared, man, they've done that to me. I tell you, it's terrifying. You'll see it in my documentary. They'll go like it's horrifically terrifying when
That's exactly how he describes it.
Right? And it's just scary, but when you realize that's typical primate behavior, and when you realize they're clearly just trying to communicate with you, just trying to say, hey, I'm here and I'd like to build a relationship with you, because they've been watching him for years. I bet you if you talk to him, he's like, yeah, I do this. They probably follow you all over. They probably wait outside his house, can't wait for him to come out and see what he's doing that day, So this is the level. That's why so many people have called them like guardians of the mountain and shadow watch. They're watching. And a young Sasquatch maybe watching people for years before he communicates, and then they communicate, he tries to do something, and it scares the hell out of him, and the Sasquatch goes, what the hell do I do to these people? No matter what I do, I put rocks outside, I left them a rabbit, terrified them. They moved out of the damn house, I was giving them a rabbit gift. You know what I mean?
Really?
I've had people call me and say, there's dead rabbits on my porch, and I'm terrified, and then I saw a Sasquatch, and I moved. I'm like, why'd you move? He was giving you a gift.
Holy crap, eh?
What'd you want him to do? Cook it in a stew, chop it up with some carrots and boil it and leave it for you? He was giving you rabbits, man. and then I asked the guy and he goes, I hunt rabbits. I go, well, he knows that. He watches you hunt rabbits, dumbass. He goes, I never thought of that. It just scared the hell out of me when I realized the Sasquatch were throwing rabbits on my porch, and it terrified me. And he moved. It's like, what the hell? Like we're so far behind, we think we're ahead, kind of thing,
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's what my documentary, I hope, is about, and that's what I'm really going to try to explain to people is, that's where we're at. So,
that sounds awesome. That sounds, because you're right, because what you're saying about them is what the elders, my Peter Sarkisic, that'd be my dad's uncle.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what he sort of says and describes is
right.
They're not there to hurt you.
No.
You don't really have to be scared. Just try not to get them mad or something, he says.
Yeah. Well, and
I don't know what that meant, though, but that's what I'm saying. I think that's where some some of the stories that probably have been passed on may have changed a bit. Maybe that's why some of us that get told that now are scared and hesitant about certain things, probably.
And remember, we're a new generation. Just like there's a new generation of Sasquatch out there that have been watching us. And when that new generation, when that exciting individual wants to communicate with us, I need to do the best I can to make sure everybody that's out there knows when that branch gets extended, reach back, communicate, right? You did it. Congratulations. You're a good person. And don't run away, Jared. You know what I mean? Don't hide in your house anymore. Yeah. Really just be brave, and because that Sasquatch had to be brave to do that. That's brave.
Yeah, exactly, because they don't show themselves for nothing, man.
That's right. And human beings are goddamn dangerous and scary. We are the most scary, dangerous. We're destroying this planet, raping it, killing each other. We're so freaking scary. I wouldn't communicate with us.
Yep.
You know?
I hear you.
So
we're tearing her soul out. That's what we're doing.
Well, let's train our sons. I got a 10-year-old too, and I'm fighting for a better planet right now. That's why I do this. So go out there and do good things, and maybe the Sasquatch can help us make the world a better place. That's my dream. So yeah.
If man can't do it, maybe somebody else will help us.
Well, even if they can just get us back to nature, right? Teach us that, how important nature is, and if I can. If I can take hundreds of thousands of people out and show them how much to love the wilderness and how beautiful the wilderness is, because Sasquatch taught me, then that makes the world a better place. Because wow, at home, video games, watching movies, chatting, texting, Instagram, social media, and not living your life that's no way to live.
Yes, exactly, and that's why I try to get out as much as I can.
Yeah, you and me both.
I'd rather be outdoors rather than be in an office, man.
Well, put those hairs of yours in a plastic bag.
I will do that.
Yeah, it's been fantastic.
I'll give you one of the better hairs I have there.
Well, if somebody else comes asking for it, I do suggest you give it to them. Let it get. It's very expensive to analyze, and I'm financially I'm not in the best place right now. But if people are going to analyze it and do the DNA on it, as long as you know in your heart that's not a horsehair, Let them have it. Just keep it in a plastic bag, and I should be able to generate some money in the next year or so. If you can't find anybody else, let's talk again in a year. And I have a new documentary coming out, and that might generate a little bit of money. And I'd love to have that hair sample tested. So keep it. Don't lose it. Keep it safe.
Oh, I won't lose it. I haven't let it out of my sight.
Fantastic. Well, this has been a great conversation. Do you mind if I use this conversation for my radio show?
Go for it.
Okay.
Like I said, I don't mind.
All right. Yeah.
What you're explaining and what you're talking to me and your history, I like it. Your connection to the land is what I always love.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it doesn't matter what color we are, everybody deserves a connection, and everybody deserves to find it.
Yeah, and it's people talk bullshit to me all the time, and it takes me no time at all to like, dude, you don't know what you're talking about when you hear people going, burr, 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 burr. It's like, you're so full of shit. You've been reading books and trying to theorize things, and my friend, we're boots on the ground out there, and there's the difference between boots on the ground and your bullshit quacking and chip-chatting online is it's night and day. It's apples and oranges. There's no comparison. So
Well, I had a couple of people doing that with me online, is trying to get this and that for me, but I asked who they were and some of the things that they know about our culture.
Yeah.
And they didn't really know too much about it, not the way you're talking about it. So
yeah,
that's how I kind of know and talk to people too.
Yeah.
Because like I said, it's a strong connection we have, and that's what he is. He's our land protector, our Sabe, and that's why I always believe that myself.
Yeah, I like the way you say that too. It's with your accent. It sounds you're Sabe. That's pretty.
Yeah, Sabe.
Sabe. That's very cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, I know it is.
Okay.
Everything I'm learning it all more, and within the next year, I'm going to keep at it. I'm going to keep out there. I'll keep putting my cameras out, and I'll remember everything that you told me and taught me there tonight.
Well, and if anything you can teach me and help me with too, I'm a student too, right? So let's stay in touch, and we'll share information back and forth on Facebook, and we'll talk once in a while.
Yes, we will, for sure.
All right. Take care, my friend.
Oh, you too. Thank you. It was very nice meeting you.
Same here.
And I hope to actually meet you sometime down the line, more like it, I should say.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. That hair sample comes back as legitimate DNA. I might be able to get finance to come out there by one of my TV shows or something, right? So I'll definitely you're top on my list. I'll tell you that much. If I got that hair sample and I tested it and it's unknown DNA like my sample was, there's nobody's going to argue that you saw a Sasquatch. It's done. The test is $500. So we'll keep it on the back burner. This is not something that's going to be. You and I still have a lot to learn. I'll never stop learning. But I
can never stop.
Keep that on the back burner, and we'll work it out in the next year or two.
Yeah, that's why I said no worries. I'll be around. I'll still be kicking in the bush anyways.
Yeah, me too.
I love it.
All right. Take care.
Nice to meet you, my brother.
Same here.
Take care.
You too. Bye.
So that's our Saturday show for this week. Obviously, I'll be doing a lot more. This was just a quick put together because I just had to get this information out as soon as possible. I love it. It's amazing. If you've seen a Sasquatch, if you've had an interaction with Sasquatch, you have Sasquatch tracks or evidence of any kind, just like Freddie did, send us an email at this email address. It's bigfootencounter@gmail.com, or go to the website discoveringbigfoot.org. You can send me an email through there as well. So get back to us and stay tuned for more incredible, amazing stuff. We're moving forward with this research and I'm very excited. So thanks for tuning in. We'll see you very soon. Bye.